Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 6th Phaco Festival by Netradama Super Speciality Eye Hospital in the field of Phaco refractive surgery. Our hospital has been conducting CMEs of this kind for the past 20 years, aimed at showcasing the latest technological advances in the field of cataract and refractive surgery. We endeavor to learn, share, and experience with you all the newest innovations in this field. We now invite the following dignitaries to kindly come onto the dais. Professor Yanis Pelikaris, Mrs. Barbara Pelikaris, Dr. Santana Gopal, President of AIOS,
Dr. Krishna Prasad, Secretary of Karnataka Ophthalmic Society, Dr. Y.L. Rajshekhar, President of Bangalore Ophthalmic Society,
Sri Raja Rao and Srimati Lalita Rao, our beloved grandparents, Dr. Sri Ganesh, Chairman and Managing Director of Netradama Super Speciality Eye Hospital, Dr. Suman Shri R, CEO, Netradama Super Speciality Eye Hospital.
To begin this auspicious event, we invoke the blessings of the Lord with a melodious rendition by Dr. Suman Shri.
ஒன்றுமில்லை மறைமூர்த்தி கண்ணா குறை ஒன்றுமில்லை கண்ணா குறை ஒன்றில்லை கோவிந்தா குறை ஒன்றுமில்லை மறைமூர்த்தி கண்ணா குறை ஒன்றுமில்லை கண்ணா குறை ஒன்றும் இல்லை கோவிந்தா கண்ணுக்கு தெரியாமல் நிற்கிறாய் கண்ணா கண்ணுக்கு தெரியாமல் நின்றாலும் எனக்கு குறை ஒன்றும் இல்லை மறைமூர்த்தி கண்ணா வேண்டியதை தந்திடு வெங்கடேசன் என்றலுக்கு வேண்டியதை வேறில்லை மறைமூர்த்தி கண்ணா மணிவண்ணா மலையப்ப கோவிந்தா கோவிந்தா திரையின் பெண்ணிக்கின்றாய் கண்ணா கண்ணா திரையின் பெண்ணிக்கின்றாய் கண்ணா உன்னை மறையோது ஞானியர் மட்டுமே காண்பார் திரையின் பெண்ணிக்கின்றாய் கண்ணா உன்னை மறையோதும் ஞானியர் மட்டுமே காண்பார் என்றாலும் குறை ஒன்றும் எனக்கில்லை கண்ணா என்றாலும் குறை ஒன்றும் எனக்கில்லை மறைமூர்த்தி கண்ணா குறைவொன்றுமில்லை மறைமூர்த்தி கண்ணா மணிவண்ணா மலையப்பா கோவில்தா கோவில்தா களிநாளுக்கு இறங்கி களிலே இறங்கி நிலையாத கோயிலில் நிற்கின்றாய் கேசவா களிநாளுக்கு இறங்கி களிலே இறங்கி நிலையாத கோயிலில் நிற்கின்றாய் கேசவா குறை ஒன்றுமில்லை மறைமூர்த்தி கண்ணா யாரும் மறக்காத மலையப்பா யாரும் மறக்காத மலையப்பா மார்பில் ஏதும் கரன் இருக்கும் கருணையில் கரல் என்று என்றும் இருந்திடு ஏது குறை எனக்கு என்றும் இருந்திடு ஏது குறை எனக்கு ஒன்றும் குறையில்லை மறைமூர்த்தி கண்ணா ஒன்றும் குறையில்லை மறைமூர்த்தி கண்ணா மணிவண்ணா மலையப்பா கோவில்தா 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 கோவில்தா. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. May your cup always overflow. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Suman. Shubham karoti kalyanam, arogyam dhanasampada, shatru buddhi vinashaya, deepam jyoti namostate.
The meaning of which is, I fold my hands before the light that brings prosperity, auspiciousness, good health, abundance of wealth, and the destruction of darkness. We request the dignitaries seated on the dais to light the inaugural lamp. We now call upon Dr. Sri Ganesh, Chairman and Managing Director, to welcome this esteemed gathering.
Good evening, everybody. It gives me great pleasure to extend a very warm welcome to you all. We have been successfully conducting the Phaco Festival for 20 years now, where we showcase the latest of technology and advances in eye care. The team of Netradama strongly believes that quality can only sustain growth consistently. The theme of this year's conference is Learn, Share, Experience. We all know that cataracts and refractive errors are universal problems, and many patients would like to get spectacle-free vision. We have showcased and discussed various surgical scenarios, newer refractive procedures, intraocular lenses, and implants. We strongly believe that the technologies and solutions that we recommend for our patients are good enough for us. I myself, along with quite a few of my staff and doctors, have been beneficiaries of the fine technologies that Netradama offers its patients. In fact, in the last Phaco Festival year, I got operated during the live surgery, and now I'm able to read without glasses. Last Phaco Festival, we instituted the Dr. K.R. Murthy Oration Award, which is conferred to a prominent ophthalmologist with significant contribution to clinical ophthalmology. This year, the oration is awarded to Professor Yanis G. Palikaris, world-renowned as the father of LASIK, for his contribution to the field of refractive surgeries. Netradama has made a name in the quality circles. Netradama has been conferred with the Best Hospital to Work For award at the AHPI 4th Global Conclave 2017 at Chennai, India. I'm also proud to announce that we have received the Making Quality Happen MQH Best Practices Trophy at Healthcare category at the annual MQH Conference and Award Ceremony held at Mumbai by IMC Ramakrishna Bajaj National Quality Award Trust. On the academics and research front, we have had more than 25 publications this year, won awards and accolades at various national and international conferences for our innovative techniques. Now may I welcome on stage our chief guest for today's evening, Professor Yanis G. Palikaris, Professor of Ophthalmology at the University of Crete since 1996, founder and director of the Vardino-Ionian Eye Institute of Crete and Institute of Vision and Optics. His contribution to ophthalmology has been revolutionary. Apart from being the father of LASIK, he has designed and developed many new specialized instruments and systems. It is my pleasure to invite and welcome Mrs. Palikaris as well. It is also my privilege to invite AOS President Dr. Santan Gopal, KOS Secretary Dr. Krishna Prasad Kudlu, BOS President Dr. Vayal Rajshekar, CEO of Netradama Dr. Suman Shri, and my parents who have always been pillars of support, Mr. Rajarao and Mrs. Lalita Rao on stage. I take immense pleasure in welcoming Professor Chi Sun Phaik from Singapore National Eye Center, Head and Senior Consultant, Ocular Inflammation and Immunology Department, a recipient of the Best Teacher Award by SNEC in 2000 and the American Academy of Ophthalmology Achievement Award 2007, a specialist in anterior segment reconstruction and complicated cases such as subluxated cataracts and IOLs. It is also my privilege to welcome Dr. Alan Fong, Head of the Cataract and Comprehensive Department at Singapore National Eye Center, Dr. Pham Han Bor, a clinician, researcher, and a great instructor from Tan Tock Seng Hospital, Singapore. I also welcome all the national faculty and stalwarts in the field of ophthalmology who are sharing their knowledge and experience with us. I also welcome the KMC Observer, Dr. Sandhya. I welcome the staff and doctors of Netradama Super Speciality Eye Hospital and all the delegates and attendees who have made this conference a big success. I welcome all our sponsors who have supported us wholeheartedly for this event, without which such a grand event could not have been organized. I wish you all an enjoyable and educative conference. Come, let's learn, share, and experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sri Ganesh, for your warm welcome. From the very inception of this organization to what it is today,
we can think of no one better to walk us through the milestones that Netradama Super Speciality Eye Hospital as an organization has achieved. She has been there through it all. Dr. Suman Shri, please take the stage.
Very good evening, friends and colleagues, and all the esteemed guests on the stage. I couldn't have had a warmer welcome than from my own daughters. It was so wonderful to have this. It's the best ever that it's so overwhelming. We've completed 23 years of practice. This is our 24th year, as old as my eldest daughter. Thank you so much, my little ones. I would like to take you through a walk down memory lane. We started Netradama way back in 1994 as a one-room clinic with one small OT and a small optical nook and just a few seats for waiting, way back in 1994. And over the past 23 years, right now we have 8 eye hospitals with God's grace, with all the support of our peers and our patients. We started with a vision of leadership in the eye care domain and a mission of vision care par excellence. And our core values are very close. We call it as the trick of the Netradama team: teamwork, respect, integrity, and compassion, not only to our patients, but amongst the colleagues also. And our motto, we believe, is Shraddha hi Parama Gatihi. That is, dedication, devotion to our work and our patients is the ultimate refuge. These are the various services that we provide at most of our hospitals. You're all quite familiar with these services. So this is how we inaugurated our old Netradama in 1994 with basic instrumentation just for OPD examination and a single OT for performing cataract surgeries. In 1996, we had none other than the esteemed Dr. S.S. Badrinath himself inaugurating our first diode laser. We had the wonderful blessings of our parents and who have been blessing us continuously for the past almost 24 years. In 1997, we expanded to a bigger premises. It was shifted with more number of doctors, consultants, and facilities. In 2000, the millennium year, we opened our Supervision LASIK Center. In the same year, we started our community service activities in a small room in Konangunte called Shraddha Eye Care Trust. And it got shifted to a much bigger charitable eye hospital inaugurated by our Honorable Governor, Shri T.N. Chaturvedi and Shri Anil Kumble. We have performed more than 40,000 free cataract surgeries, 1,500 screening camps, and the number of patients seen are more than 2 lakhs in a radius of about 200 kilometers. In 2003, we expanded to a much bigger premises again, and we converted to the Netradama Hospitals Private Limited. And again, we had the most prestigious moment where Dr. Badrinath came and inaugurated our building in December 2003. Our quality journey started in the year 2005 with 9001-2005, later on, which was upgraded to 9001-2008, and now we are in the process of upgrading to 9001-2015. We further expanded in August 2008. We added an OPD block with a dedicated refractive center, an exclusive Phaco refractive OPD with personalized counseling, state-of-art opticals, and the computer vision clinic and low vision aids clinic. In 2008, we were the first eye hospital in India and the 12th in the country to receive NABH certification. More than that, it was accreditation that we have received for the complete hospital standards. We started with 2nd edition, we upgraded to 3rd, and last year we have been accredited for the 4th edition, complete hospital standards. In 2008, we expanded our activities to Mangalore. We started a LASIK center with the support of all the local ophthalmologists. Later on, we opened branches in Bangalore, in Rajajinagar, which has now been shifted to a bigger premises. And also, it was inaugurated by our Honorable Minister, Shri Anand Kumar. In Indranagar, we expanded in 2010, and now we have shifted to a latest and much bigger premises. We opened our academics with the School of Optometry in 2010, and it is being guided by none other than Dr. Savita Arun, who is the principal of the College of Optometry, and we are doing very well. In 2010, All India Ophthalmic Society conferred the Preeti Natarajan Award for Good Eye Hospital Administration. And in 2012, we opened our Davangere branch of a LASIK center. In 2014, we opened a full-fledged eye hospital in Mysore, and it was inaugurated by our Honorable Governor, Shri H.R. Bharadwaj. And in 2014, Dr. Sri Ganesh was honored as Doctor of Science and by the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences for his contribution to the field of ophthalmology. In 2015, we also got the Certificate of Merit, and it was awarded by the Indian Merchants Chamber, Ramkrishna Bajaj National Quality Awards. It is based on the Malcolm Baldrige criteria of the US. Recently, we also got the most patient-friendly hospital and the best hospital to work for by AHPI. And just 2 weeks ago, we have officially inaugurated our community eye hospital in Hunsur called Shraddha and Sri Makam Nagaraj Shetty Eye Hospital. So that has been our journey over the past 23 years. We are entering our Silver Jubilee year from the month of July. This has been our journey in the education and research side. We have a foundation which supports the various activities. So we have had about 21 DNB residents who have passed out from the DNB program, which has started in 2004. We've had 71 fellows from the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences Fellowship Program, which was started in 2005. We have 17 optometrists who finished their BSc, which was started in 2011. We have our very prestigious and successful Phaco Shala, started in 2016. We have graduated about 90 ophthalmologists successfully who are practicing Phaco emulsification in their private practices. And we also have a SMILE training program in which we have graduated about 25 doctors. Now, these are some of our Phaco refractive milestones, our equipment milestones. It started in 1995 with the Quantum machine, went on to the Diplomax, then the Classic, the Signature, and now we have the Signature Pro. In the refractive area, we started off with Bausch & Lomb, went on to the Visex, the Intralace, the Schwinn, and now we have the Zeiss Visumax and the Zeiss Mel 90. In retina department, 2003, we had the Office microscope, then we had the Millennium, then the Goider systems, then the Stellaris, and now we have the Doc EVA system. In anesthesia equipments, also we have slowly progressed, and now we have the latest monitors, the biphasic defibrillators, and the Aspire anesthesia machine to give safe anesthesia. These are the various quality awards from the year 2009. We won the DL Shaw Award twice, in 2012 and 2015, for our Lean Six Sigma in healthcare projects. These are our various clinical awards, which have been acquired recently over the past 2 years. Dr. Sri Ganesh was invited to deliver the Dr. S.N. Kalita Memorial Oration Award, and he was awarded the gold medal in the Oscars recently. And also the Colonel Rangachari Award in the year 2017. Netradama family is a very close-knit family. We do spread awareness about glaucoma through various rallies. We have had cycling rallies, biking rallies, walkathons, vintage car rallies, and also we celebrate the eye donation fortnight, and we have been celebrating Quality Day in the month of November. So this time our theme was implementing Kaizen in all the departments. And we do have a focus on enhancing the health of all our staff. So we have fun and play together. We have annual trips. We do take yoga classes. We conduct suryathons in the premises. And we have the annual award ceremony where we celebrate our performances throughout the year by rewards and recognition for all our staff. And today, I'm so happy to have this wonderful couple, Professor Pelikaris and Mrs. Barbara Pelikaris, who have honored us with their presence. I'm deeply, deeply honored, and I'm very grateful for this wonderful couple to have come here and blessed all of us. Thank you so much, Professor and Madam Barbara Pelikaris. Thanks once again.
Dr. Suman. We now invite onto the stage Dr. T.K. Ramesh, the former director of Minto Hospital, to speak a few words about the Honorable Dr. K.R. Murthy. It's okay. His laptop is there. Your laptop is there.
And Madam Pelikaris, Netradama family headed by Dr. Sri Ganesh, Dr. Rao, Mrs. Rao, Dr. Gopal and Dr. Krishna Prasad, esteemed guests and dear friends. It's a big honor and happy moment for me to introduce Dr. Krishnamurthy Ramachandra Murthy. His name itself, when I hear the name, a gush of energy runs through my blood. I can't introduce him as a person, but a phenomenon called Ramachandra Murthy, who was fondly called Dr. KRM. He was a third generation ophthalmologist in his family. His father and grandfather are equally illustrious. Did his MBBS, FRCS and FRCO. He was a true pan-ophthalmologist. And I have been lucky to know him and assist him in his clinical work and surgery. He was good at every aspect of ophthalmology, unbelievable for today's young postgraduates. I have assisted him for external ocular surgeries like ptosis, facial aorta sling surgeries, lacrimal surgeries, orbit. I'm not talking about simple orbitotomies. It used to be a complicated orbitotomies involving nasopharyngeal tumors, orbital surgeries along with neurosurgeons, intracranial tumors, all those things. Squint surgeries of all kinds, glaucoma surgeries. He devised his own method of doing goniotomy in children. He was one of the first persons to introduce trabeculectomy to this country. Vitreoretina. He was one of the first persons to have a vitrectomy equipment. And believe me, they along with some of his friends sat with some engineers and built the first vitrectomy machine in this country, and they started using that machine for doing vitreous surgery. He started doing photocoagulation using xenon arc, and he was one of the first persons in this part of the country to do xenon arc photocoagulation. Introduced lasers, and he got the first ultrasound machine probably for the country way back in 1984 or 85. He was good at adapting all technologies of his time. Intraocular lenses was first started. He started with intracapsular cataract surgery, graduated to Phaco surgery in no time, and he was one of the first persons to start Phaco. he was a very keen, he had a very keen sense of commitment to the community, and his community ophthalmology work was unparalleled at his time, doing large number of camp surgeries, not only in the country, but even abroad in some developing countries. He went and did camp surgeries, and he always advocated serving the poor people at no cost. He was a consultant neuro-ophthalmologist for the prestigious National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, where he did a lot of neuro-ophthalmology work, and I was fortunate to attend the neuro-ophthalmology clinic along with him. His corneal transplants were excellent, and I was again fortunate to assist some of his corneal transplant surgeries. Apart from all this, he was a good in administration, was the president, secretary, treasurer of Karnataka Ophthalmological Society. He was organizing secretary of All India Ophthalmological Conferences, a true nationalist and a patriot. When I was about to go abroad for my first trip abroad for my fellowship, I called him from the airport and he said, he didn't talk about ophthalmology, he said, keep India's flag flying high wherever you go. That was the sentence he said. He was a philanthropist, and then I used to assist him in OPD, and whenever the patients, they said that they are afraid of the cost, he used to say, ask him not to worry about it. If he has got any problem with his finance for any other thing, including his food, arrange for that also. That was what he was telling for his poor patients, and no patient went out of his clinic because they were not able to pay. He was an entrepreneur. He was always thinking how he can deliver the goods to the people, opening hospitals and several other things. His innumerable directions in which his mind used to work. He was a great teacher, though he was working in a medical college only for a short period. He was a great teacher. I still remember, after a very difficult OPD, a long day, I just told him once that, sir, I am going to do my first vitrectomy tomorrow. He just got a pen and paper, sat there, 9:30 in the night. He described to me every small bit of the procedure, and where I would go wrong, he predicted and said, take care of these things. So he was a great teacher. Whenever you met him, whoever met him, for whatever shortest period of time, there was always something he would teach us. He was a great motivator. Anybody who comes within his magnetic field, he would motivate them to do the maximum, whether there is his assistant or anybody who is meeting for the first time. And he was an absolute workaholic. Absolute workaholic, starting the surgery at 5 o'clock in the morning. Surgery used to end at 9 o'clock. Already by 9 o'clock, 50 patients are waiting for his consultation. After 5 o'clock, meeting somebody from the schools or local colleges, asking for some donation, he would help them. Evening complicated surgeries, long surgeries, he would start, go on till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the night. And imagine, he was such a big motivator. If we were assisting him from morning till night, we would be looking forward for the next morning 5 o'clock surgery when we would start the surgery again. We were so much of enthusiasm he was filling in us. Absolute workaholic, and he has a great sense of very infectious enthusiasm and energy he had. And apart from all this, an extremely kind-hearted person with a good sense of humor, and he could match anybody in any field and strike a balance and strike a chord with anybody. Really, one of the best things which has happened to me personally in life was to come in contact with Dr. K.R. Murthy and work with him for some time. Thank you, Sri Ganesh, for giving me this opportunity. And by remembering Dr. K.R. Murthy, we are not doing a favor for him, we are doing a favor for ourselves, because all these qualities somewhere will help us to do our work better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for those warm words. We are honored to have with us this evening Professor Pelikaris as our chief guest for the ceremony. To welcome him, a few words by our very own chief, Dr. Sri Ganesh.
Before I go on to introduce our chief guest, I should say that I worked for a very short period of time with Dr. K.R. Murthy. It was during my internship. I was doing my internship and I used to go and do night duties in his hospital and assist him in surgeries. He used to start at 5 a.m., sometimes 4:30 a.m. So I used to get up at 3:30, prepare the patients, and that was my first exposure to ophthalmology. And I had not even decided that I would do ophthalmology. It was during internship that I got a really good exposure and then decided to go on and become an ophthalmologist. And he had a very big influence on people. And I always remember him. Even today, when you saw that the IUL dropped, of course, one of his favorite phrases used to be, "Tomorrow is another day," from Gone with the Wind. And he just believes that, okay, if something has happened, forget it and move on. And that's what happened. I had the next surgery and I had to forget about what had happened and then do it very clearly. And that is something which at that instance, I remembered him. So he had a very big influence on people. So now I would like to introduce our chief guest for today, Professor Yanis Pelikaris, who is going to give the K.R. Murthy Oration Award. Professor Yanis Pelikaris received his medical degree at the University of Thessaloniki, Greece, and completed his residency and PhD thesis at the University of Zurich, Switzerland in 1981. He was professor of ophthalmology at the University of Crete since 1996, founder and director of the Vardino-Ionian Eye Institute of Crete and Institute of Vision Optics, 2002. He's former president and board member of the ESCRS from 2011. His research interest expands on all fields of ophthalmology, including refractive surgery, visual optics, medical lasers, biopolymers, retinal surgery, and image analysis, and the design and development of microsurgical instrumentation. His most significant impact is in refractive surgery, in which he is considered internationally as one of the most opinionated leaders. He has published 3 breakthrough articles related to the development and investigation of laser in situ keratomileusis. He is considered as the father of LASIK, which is the most worldwide acknowledged and used technique in refractive surgery today. He has published approximately 198 articles in international peer-reviewed scientific journals and 27 articles in national peer-reviewed journals. He is editor of 5 books in ophthalmology, the most notable one being the book LASIK, which is the reference point for refractive surgeons worldwide. He has been awarded 25 international awards, most notably the Barracker Award from the American Academy of Ophthalmology in 1997 for his groundbreaking contribution to refractive surgery. Professor Pelikaris has been essential in expanding the revolutionary field of refractive surgery and creating the appropriate grounds for the opening of new and exciting application in this field. His initial contributions with the development of LASIK had a direct impact on the newly formed, developed, and investigated techniques today. The development of this groundbreaking technique had an enormous effect not only on the surgical field but also on the technological aspects of the associated instrumentation. Professor Pelikaris has been essential in expanding the revolutionary field of refractive surgery. His research protocols were performed for the US FDA with very important outcomes for the safety, reliability, and effectiveness of new systems used in ophthalmology. He is contributing to this field by designing and developing new specialized instruments and systems such as the Tracy device, one of the first commercial instruments for the measurement of optical aberrations of the human eye and the assessment of retinal image quality. At IBO, education also constitutes one of the basic activities. He has a number of awards, the Baraker Award, the KMSG Baraker Award from American Academy of Ophthalmology Award as Pioneer in Refractive Surgery, Achievement Award, the Binkost Medal at ESCRS in 2009, Academia Ophthalmologica Internationalis in 2010, the Baraker Award Video Refractive Italy 2011, Hospital LASIK and SMILE in India 2015. So I welcome our chief guest today, and we will be honoring him before he gives his oration. Professor Pelikaris. May I call upon Dr. Praveen Murthy, son of Dr. K.R. Murthy, to do the honors. Now I request Professor Pelikaris to deliver the oration.
Coming. Good evening. It's a very special moment for me and my wife to be here in India. It's not the first time for us, and to say the truth, we feel that India is our second home or second country. There are many reasons of that. Not because for a long time we have very good friends here. I have been visiting Vidya for the first time in 1992. I remember I went to Ahmedabad to install the first ML excimer laser. I don't remember the number. But anyway, it was my first experience in India. Since then, I have been many times in India. I had a chance to have also in my university very good fellows coming from here, like Dr. Vardaman, which is close by. But I believe that my closer relation to this country is my soul and the soul from my wife. And I tell you, we exercise every day yoga in Greece, in our home. We read a lot of books about your history. And probably, as you know, Greece, in ancient times, has transferred the Indian civilization to Europe. So the transition of the Europeans to become civilized came through Greece, but this was the Indian civilization, actually. That's why the European civilization we are calling Indo-European civilization, because the basic of this civilization is here. So there are many other, of course, historical aspects between our countries. And that's why I say that there are many reasons to be very tight, binded with this country and with your people and with the doctors here. And I'm very happy, like I'm home here right now. So thank you very much for this big honor to invite me here in this very nice city. And I'd like to thank, of course, Sri Ganesh, which is really a leading doctor in ophthalmology today. I was very impressed visiting his hospital and showing his skills, how he operates. And I'm looking forward to work together in the future for some new ideas. I know tonight you are a bit tired because we have some delay. I like to go very fast, a little bit from the past, and show you some historical slides. We know that the first time we tried to correct ametropia started very early, 1500. We have the first lens correction, I mean with the glasses. Much later, 1950, the first contact lenses, and 1917, we started to think about refractive surgery. Here's a timeline of refractive surgery. These slides come from American Academy of Ophthalmology. These are not my own slides, but somewhere you see also my face, but there are much more famous people around me for this development today. The first really evolution on, or revolution on refractive surgery started when we discovered the excimer laser. It was discovered in the 1960s, and they have done the first biological application at the time, which was Srinivasan and Tabota in the United States. Torkel, later on, 1983, made the first cornea excisions and scapuling with excimer laser. L'Espérance McDonald have done the first PRK in 1988, and the approval was 1995. PRK was very popular in the beginning, but has some certain problems like postoperative pain, corneal haze, digression of effect, and we have some kind of delay on visual rehabilitation. It was a minimally invasive procedure. In this period, I have done also PRKs, and of course, the first thing was in discussion at the time was how we remove the epithelium. I remember I have discovered several brushes to remove the epithelium, and this was my first, I think, patent I get in the United States at the time. That is one of the very first videos. This was done before the Amoils brush, by the way. I presented this for the first time, as I remember, in '93 in Boston on the Academy meeting at the time. Of course, because of these PRK problems, as I mentioned before, we went to the idea to make the LASIK procedure because everything happened inside the cornea. This was, let's say, my main, probably, contribution in ophthalmology. And this is the very first keratome, handmade, not oscillating blades, nothing. If you see even the opening here of the ring was imitated a kind of flap. It was not rounded. And the very first human I have done this sectioning, which was a little bit oval. And here you see the very first human eye, which was done 90 June. This is a Polytech microkeratome. You see here I have a nodule in order to stop advancing the head of the microkeratome, the cornea, not to go over. It was an oscillated system, of course, hand-driven, but it was very unpredictable. I'm telling you, that time was not pachymeters. We had estimated, let's say, the cornea of the flap. And as I remember, the very first flap, they were sometimes 300 microns, probably sometime more. I remember when I've done LASIK on this residual cornea bed here, sometimes it was very thin, and have done like 10 diopters of correction. Sometimes I saw the anterior chamber of water to flow through the cornea because I was penetrating the cornea. But this is the history. This is the border of the ablation, of course, here. And okay, LASIK was difficult to be accepted. It took a lot of time to be approved in the United States. But then became the procedure of choice. And after the very first experience, of course, we faced problems with LASIK. The major problem you can see here, we have the risk of cornea ectasia. This was an flap-induced aberration, which could not predict it, for example, and we cannot go to the very precise correction. Meanwhile, as Dr. Sri Ganesh mentioned, we developed wavefront technology. One from my first patent was Tracy technology in 1994. And of course, we have more demand, let's say, to go to more precise correction. So unpredicted factors like cutting the cornea, they cannot allow us to do that. And dry eye was a big problem again. So we came back to the surface. We have improved somehow the surface ablation again. We call it advanced surface ablation. Some procedures, what's typical for this category was PRK with mitomycin, which was very helpful because of the hazy, LASIK, and epiLASIK. epiLASIK, as you know, was another investment for me in about 2002. So you can see here what was the advantage of the surface ablations, and of course, many people, meanwhile, they came back to the surface. So it was a big discussion, let's say, between the conservative Europeans. They've done a lot of surface ablation, even today, and the Americans, they like LASIK for the beginning. PRK never had really a big percentage on the procedures in the United States. But LASIK, again, has, as I said, some certain problems, and we have to discover, let's say, the ultimate, somehow, microkeratome. This is the technology we are using today from Zeiss, which introducing the SMILE procedure. SMILE offers better corneal stability, less ectasia problem, which is a problem with LASIK, less dry eye syndrome, and of course allows us, because of the stability, to make higher corrections. So this is in the front of my office in Crete, in which you have the latest femto-based microkeratome and the very first handmade one. So this is a history of about, let's say, 25 years now. Now, let's go what's happened today. Today we have several combinations, and having all these systems in my hands and in my clinic, I can summarize, let's say, overall what are the plus and minus between the combination of different technologies. Speaking for advanced surface ablation, when they are simple or combined with the wavefront guided ablations, they are, of course, very good for very thin corneas and very low corrections. But because of the epithelium reprofiling is unpredicted, then this event is not as good for the higher astigmatism or hyperopia at all. So this is the down point of the surface ablation today. Speaking from eye design, wavefront guided LASIK, which is a platform from AMO, This is very good for astigmatism correction and fine-tuning, even for the second-order aberration. And I think this is, for me, the tool of choice to make fine-tuning on low correction, let's say. But it's not good enough for hyperopic profiles and high irregularities. Looking on the Alcon Wavelight platform, this is a platform which is really very good for hyperopia and topo-link approaches. This is for sure. It's probably not good enough for wavefront-guided procedure because the system does not support this kind of technology. Schwind is a high-end, let's say, excimer laser. Probably is the trademark for transepithelial PRK, as you know. Speaking for SMILE, it's very good for higher myopias and quite high level of astigmatism. We don't have yet any wavefront-guided, let's say, algorithm. And for hyperopia, we are now in trials, and I know that here, Sriganesh is on the global team. Now, I like to give the last part of my presentation on something which is, for me, is crucial, and is the most important part on what we're doing all the time. So the final goal, or the ultimate goal, is really to can make a cornea with zero refractive error. This is, I think, the goal. We know very well, all of us, for our practice, that the best visual acuity we can achieve for our patients is with the use of the hard contact lenses. Because a hard contact lens, let's say, offers the best possible surface on the optical system, and I'm doing this regularly in all my, let's say, strange corneas as a test, because it's the only way I can find out how much I can improve my vision with my optical system. So hard contact lens is the best solution. And I say always to my patient, when the patients are wearing contact lenses, which are sometimes they're hard contact lenses or semi-rigid, I tell them what I do with refractive surgery never can be as good as your contact lenses vision. And everybody knows that. There are three factors they affect the final outer surface of the eye, which is the very first optical element of our system. And this has to be absolute, let's say, spheric. One is the tear film quality, don't forget it, the epithelium factor, and third is the cornea anatomical irregularities. The tear film quality is very important for the vision. We know that. So that's why we have done very often correlation between dry eye and visual acuity, because the dry eye is a problem, a big problem on the quality of the surface of the eye and on the tear film. So that's why we try, or we should measure the functional visual acuity. So the visual acuity is evaluated after a few seconds of no blinking. Patients with dry eye, they have worse visual acuity. Also, delay of the blinking induce much fast high-order aberration in patients with dry eye. And when the bad test is worsening on the progression, this is connected with the reduction of the visual acuity and quality of vision. All these are, let's say, results for very extensive trials. Of course, the tear film needs to be a solution. That's why they become very popular. Tear film, the artificial tears become very popular in the last, let's say, 10 years, 10, 15 years. On the first generation, we put some isotonic or slightly hypotonic solution, but they have a very short time of permanence on the eye surface. Then we come to the second generations. We add some natural or synthetic polymers like polyvinyl alcohol, povidone, polysorbate, and on agar. This allows the artificial tears to stay longer on the cornea. Then we put some sodium hyaluronate on the third generation for better hydration and protection of the epithelial cells. And now we understand much more about the role of the vitamins, and I think vitamins is a very crucial, let's say, element, having a very good quality on our tear film. So I think the vitamins are very important, and particularly two of those vitamins, the B, let's say, family of vitamins, which is B5 and B12, combined with some sodium hyaluronate, help a lot because we have a healing acceleration and regeneration of corneal wounds and postoperative healing perfection, and we have clinical base hydration properties combined with hyaluronate. Also, on the other side, the vitamin A and E plus hyaluronate is very important because vitamin A is a key component of goblet cells in cornea, and its deficiency can lead to dry eye. Vitamin A is in eye drops replaces vitamin A levels of conjunctival and corneal cells. Vitamin A eye drops can accelerate the healing time. The drops act as a lipid stabilizer of the tear film by increasing the density of the conjunctival cells so that more mucus can be secreted into the tears. Vitamin A drops are ideally indicated also for keratitis. And also vitamin A, E, eye drops binds free radicals and protects the ocular surface from the toxicity. So the combination, I think, is very important. And don't forget that blepharitis is one of the factors which affect mostly the quality of the tear film. And blepharitis is a very common phenomenon which sometimes has clinical importance or not. Just keep in mind that blepharitis can lead to the dry eye problem. 50% of patients with dry eye suffer from anterior blepharitis. 37% to 47% of patients visiting the ophthalmologist suffer from blepharitis. And we don't take care of that sometimes. We don't look at all on the Mabons. 40% of the patients with seborrheic dermatitis were diagnosed with a dry eye. Almost half of the patients with staphylococcal blepharitis were diagnosed with a dry eye. Almost all blepharitis patients are colonized by demoxex, and a large patient percentage of blepharitis is asymptomatic and needs treatment. So that's why we have to take care for our Mabons glands because they are the ones they secrete the films and they stabilize the tear film. And temperature is very important. That's why, let's say, several kinds of this type, as I saw here in the picture, for epithema on the glands may liquefy more because increase the temperature on the film. Let's go out now of the liquids on the surface. Let's go out of the tears and see what is the role of the epithelium to have a very smooth, let's say, spherical surface. Can we quantify the epithelium on the cornea? This is a question. We know that epithelium has, first of all, a refractive effect on the cornea. We know because when we have done PRK in the beginning, we have a regression. The regression was because the epithelium was thicker in the area of the ablation. We know that the epithelium, when we go and make hyperopic PRK on the periphery, increase in thickness and reduce the results, the outcome. So epithelium has a refractive effect. There's no doubt about it. Also, the epithelium regularizes the irregular part of the corneas, like here. This is a very good sample after. Now, the question is, can we have a model, let's say, to quantify this degree of re-epithelialization or to predict somehow the thickness of the epithelium in certain abnormalities? So we tried to do this in a few years back using spline polynomial fitting, which we take the raw data in gross sections and we find the edge, yellow or blue here, for example, and then we use fast Fourier transform spectral analysis, and what we find is that we have a very close relation between the depth, let's say, of the effect and the increase of the thickness of the epithelium. This is also very important information, but we get also another information. We scrap epithelium, stroma into different directions, and it seems that the orientation of the irregularity will be affected from the lid movement. So we see that when we are having this on a horizontal place, we have much higher degree of epithelialization. Take all this information together and play a little bit with mathematics. You see how close we came here, because here you can see this is blue is the stroma, the red is the epithelium, and what is green is what we can predict with this algorithm. So if we have, let's say, a stroma with a lot of regularities, we can predict very close the next surface of the cornea. We use all of this, of course, to advance all this information, and to expand into dimension, to estimate the smoothing as an impulse response, and then we can express new surface as a convolution of substrate with impulse response. And of course, in that way, we can calculate topographic deconvolution, for example. So I have this information. Actually, you can do today, we can predict today in very irregular corneas the role of the epithelium. And this has been used in the very well-known Cretan protocol for keratoconus, in which you combine PTK, calcium ablation, and cross-linking. So in summary, standard algorithms correction of only low-order aberration, high-order aberration corrected partially with wavefront-guided ablations. High degree of corneal irregularities can only partially be treated with top-on-link. Keratoconus also partially can be treated by cross-linking a top-on-link. So none of these previous techniques can lead to a real, regular, and smooth spherical surface of the cornea. We can predict somehow, we can correct somehow, but we can never go really at the end to a very smooth cornea. Based to that, I came to the idea already 15 years back to use a molding system of the cornea to generate a new surface on the cornea. I call this palm technology. Probably a few of you remember that. We have done also in the United States and in Europe many wet labs. We call this photoablator lending modulator. So there was several type of modulators used from this technique and several patterns, of course, on that. I don't go very deep on that, but this is just some drawings for the patterns. And this is the idea, actually. We put, let's say, a contact lens or a system like contact lens on the top of the cornea in a liquid hydrogel. So here, the goal in this palm, the goal was to have a material which has the same ablation rate with the cornea. Because at the end, we put that, and then we have ablate through the material, the surface also of the cornea. So this is how it works, let's say, schematically, and we can use in several, of course, extreme irregularities of the cornea. And here was the way we prove that. We generate a kind of irregular cornea by excimer laser, a pattern, and then we cover half of this material, like you see on the left side here. Green is the material, and what's happened, you see here that the place which can be covered has been ablated very regularly, so we have, let's say, eliminate all this irregularity. The problem with this material never comes in the market, never has been used, because during the ablation, the material was losing the identity and became a little bit liquid. That means during the ablation, changed the ablation rate of the material. So at the end, we cannot really go very precise on that, so we stay out of this business. Now we come to the femto. So how we can do to have an intrastomal custom smile? This is now the next goal. Can we make, let's say, a custom intrastomal lenticle in order to correct any cornea surface irregularity? So this is my new idea, and I call this iFirm, which is femtosecond interface refractive modulator. In this case, the material I'm using for modulating the cornea is not ablatable. I don't need to have any ablation of the material. The material is just used to fill the irregular part of the cornea. So this is a standard, let's say, smile procedure. We put the, or let's say, femto, whatever, interface cut. We put the cone, and then we use the surface of the cone as a referral surface and repeat the same, let's say, structure inside the cornea. In case we have an irregular cornea, like here, for example, like an undulation, when we put the suction ring on that, normally becomes flat. So we can never have an identical cut in the cornea. So what I do, I put this material on that, which is liquid. I put the cone without any suction, just sit on the top of that, and I have molded, let's say, with UV, this new surface of the cornea. So I have a sandwich, which now the referral cutting surface for the femto is this new surface of the cornea, which is absolute regular, all right? So what's happened when I go and cut in the stroma? Of course, the cut in the stroma is parallel to the cone, but it's not parallel to the surface. That's why when I remove it, this one, then I have a cut which looks like that, which is thinner here, thicker here. When I put again the cone on the eye with the suction now, that's means when the cone fits precisely on the cornea, I force the cornea to take a very regular shape. And inside the cut becomes very irregular, which means the first cut is mimic to the irregularity of the surface of the cornea. Then I make the second cut, of course, which is parallel to the surface in this case, and I generate a kind of custom lentic inside the eye. So when I remove it, I come at the end with very regular cornea. So I will give you this video as a gift for your patient to hear me tonight. Of course, this is confidential, but here you see my very first experiments, how it works. I have done with the ZEISS technology, with wavelight. Any cone can be used for this purpose. This is the material, and I saw how I can make, let's say, a new cornea with a new surface in order to be used for the interstromal cuts. It's very simple. It's just a UV lamp here. Of course, this can be quantified easier. In 1 minute, it's very fast. And when this happens, first of all, you see that the cone sticks on the cornea. That means you don't need any really suction in this case. But if you tilt it, you can remove it easily, like that. So here is clear, nothing. Here I have a new surface, all right? So this surface can be, just for demonstration reason, I show you that it's quite sticky on the cornea, but can be easily unfolded and removed if we do that like that. So this is the interface. You can imagine that any irregularity in between has been now corrected. So in order to be sure that this setup works on the interface, I have done the same thing, and I cut 2 corneas. One goes with gel, and the other without the gel. And you see that the interfaces, they are absolute the same. This is very, very clear. And this is the last video here, which I make by intention a defect here on the cornea. In the middle of the cornea, I put again the gel. I can go a little bit faster because we saw before what's happened. I put the gel on that. I put under the UV here, very fast. Again, you see here, it's sticky, which is very important because you stabilize the eye that way. And this happens very fast. I say in a few seconds, it's already sticks on the cornea, and need another probably 45 seconds to be more hard as material. But again, it's easy to remove it. You see, the eye is hollow, but I can make like that. And then I take it out here inside. You see nothing happening here, nothing happening on the surface. But when I go to take this out from the back, I have here is the undulation of this irregularity of the cornea, and at the end, something which is very nice. This is a custom contact lens again. This is how looks the epithelium on the border, because I will study what's happened with the UV radiation on the epithelial cells. So the very surface of the cornea, they have a very slight degree of degradation, but does not change really anything which is important on that. So this is, I think, the future, and I would like to thank you for your attention, and I wish to see most of you. Few of you are already on the committee of the Aegean Cornea next July in Mykonos. Thank you very much. And of course, I have to get some lessons for Mrs. Ganesh, because we had a very nice discussion in the morning about about yoga and our spirit in the other space. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your depth of knowledge with us. Now we have the vote of thanks by Dr. Sheetal, Organizing Secretary.
Thank you, Dr. Supriya. Honorable dignitaries, our most valued invited guests, and my dear friends and colleagues. I deem it a great honor to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion of 6th Phaco Festival Conference organized by Team Netradhama. And on behalf of our CMD, Dr. Sri Ganesh, and our CEO, Dr. Suman Shri, and the entire Netradhama team, I extend a heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has contributed in making this CME a success. First and foremost, I'm very grateful to our chief guest, Professor Ioannis G. Pelikaris, for accepting our invitation and coming all the way from Greece and delivering an excellent Dr. K.R. Murthy oration lecture. We are also very pleased to have Mrs. Varvara Pelikaris with us today, who has made this occasion even more special with her presence. We are also very fortunate to have Dr. Sri Ganesh's parents here with us today, and I thank them for their blessings and gracing this occasion. My sincere thanks also goes to Dr. Santhan Gopal, respected President AIOS, and Dr. Krishna Prasad Kudlu, Secretary, Karnataka Ophthalmic Society, for taking out time from their busy schedules and to be a part of this conference. I would like to express my deep gratitude to our very distinguished international faculty, Professor Chi, Dr. Pham Hanbor, Dr. Alan Fong, for coming all the way from Singapore and sharing their knowledge and experiences to make this CME an enriching experience. My sincere thanks to all the esteemed national faculty who have come from different parts of India for their contributions in scientific sessions and demonstration of latest techniques in the field of ophthalmology. A big thank you to all the delegates for attending the conference and actively participating in skill transfer courses and other scientific sessions. It's because of you and your enthusiasm that makes this meeting one of the popular conferences of our country. Friends, this time we tried to elevate the scale of this conference, and I'm very happy to share with you all that we had 700 plus registrations and 3 times the number of invited faculty and scientific sessions compared to the previous years. It goes without saying that an event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling months ago, and it requires meticulous planning, execution, and an eye for details. A big shout out to the organizing committee and the entire team of Netradhama for their dedicated efforts and commitment to make this CME a success. I'm extremely thankful to Dr. Sri Ganesh and Dr. Suman Shri for their overall supervision, minute-to-minute guidance, and enormous support at every point of time. I sincerely also thank our senior consultants, Dr. Savita and Dr. Namita, for their continued support and encouragement. My co-organizing secretary, Dr. Savio Pereira, for his meticulous management skills, and our very talented and enthusiastic young consultants, fellows, and DNB students. They all have been working very hard, day and night, with a lot of dedication towards making this conference a success. This vote of thanks would be incomplete if I do not thank our IT team for their technical support and our HR and admin departments for helping us whenever we required their help. I also thank Skyline Audiovisuals, Leela Print Media, and OMSI Processes for the perfect logistic support. Last but not the least, I would like to express our acknowledgement for the generous support we received from all our sponsors. I now request our CMD, Dr. Sri Ganesh, to honor our platinum sponsors, Carl Zeiss Meditech and Johnson & Johnson, with mementos of appreciation. I would first like to invite Mr. Arun Shetty, Head of Operations, Carl Zeiss Meditech, to the stage to receive his memento of appreciation. I now invite Mr. Shrikant Gungulur, Head Sales, India and Sri Lanka, Johnson & Johnson, to receive his memento of appreciation. I also thank all sponsors, Star Surgical, Biotech Vision Care, Entode Pharma Limited, Mehra iTech, Novartis, Luminous Microlabs, Care Group, Allergan, Sun Pharma, Tosh Pro Medicals, My Healthscape, His Ines Ophthalmics, KLB Instruments, Apasami Associates, and FDC Limited for their valuable support. We will be awarding their mementos of appreciation tomorrow at the conclusion of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, so with this I conclude my vote of thanks, and I once again thank you all for being with us today and wishing you a wonderful conference ahead. Thank you very much.
We have now come to the conclusion of this evening's event, but the night is still young.
We have in store for you a delicious dinner, followed by a night of dancing with our in-house DJ, Dr. Kamal Kapoor.
Thank you all and have a great night.